Hey, welcome back to another Hockey Nation, a Ab Nation live show on an amazing, great Sunday night, June 7th, 2026. And we are in the middle of the big Stanley Cup final 2026 between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. And we don't do a lot of Montreal Canadiens show because we're focusing on the live stream like the NBA, the NHL, and now we're going to get the World Cup. It's coming this week, following, of course, the Blue Jays, the MLB, and then all the big events happening in NHL, like the draft June 26, 27, and then the UFA July 1st. And we're going to build some kind of the show about the Montreal Canadiens, but not like it was before. Last couple of years, we did a Montreal Canadian show at least 4 or 5 times per week during the summer. And I think we have to switch a little bit. And I'm going to at least to do one per week. And the night we're going to do that, we're going to have a talk about fun news around the Montreal Canadiens. And then we'll talk about what happening to them and what is coming for the summer for the 2026 Montreal Canadiens. A little bit later, Mr. Enartap is busy. He's going to join me live talking about all the Montreal rumors we got since the end of the season of the Montreal Canadiens. And we're going to look about what he can do during the summer. I'm going to touching the NHL rumor, the NHL news, the Montreal Canadiens news, of course, the rumor around the Montreal, and then the NHL draft. What is coming next 2-3 weeks? We are right now in the middle of the combine of the NHL draft players. Of course, the Montreal Canadiens fans said, "Oh, we're not looking anymore about the NHL draft. We still have 8 NHL draft pick at the 2026. We'll see if we're going to trade or not." We're going to talk about the saga Matthew Nice happening at the NHL trade deadline, the trade between Toronto and Montreal. Who was the player involved? Some rumor expert mention names. Other expert mention other name. And I want to hear from you tonight if you will do the trade or not if a Montreal Canadian. Of course, the subject of the night, guys, tonight is time is now. And the reason I said time is now is it the summer where the Montreal Canadiens need and they have to switch and turn the switch on the moving to the next level. The last 2 seasons, Montreal Canadiens surprisingly make the playoff. Last year, they make it and they got eliminated in 5 games. The outcome of that series against the Capitals was honestly the lack of the physicality and the lack of the power of the forward. This year, they surprised everybody because they finished with 106 point. They finished on the top 10 in NHL best season this year, following by the first round to eliminate the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. They also eliminate the Buffalo Sabres when they finish at 109 point at the top of the Atlantic Division in 7 games and overtime when Alex Newhook scored. And then they got eliminated by the second best team in the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes, in 5 games. But what is behind that? Is it Montreal Canadiens is the team deserve and they should be on the top Final 4? Because we learned a lot during the playoff. We know what is missing. Montreal is not completely done or built completely to be ready to win the Stanley Cup. We know what they are looking for. And we're going to talk about this tonight. Is it the fact they win in 7 games, Tampa Bay Lightning and the Buffalo Sabres? Is it show exactly who they are, or they've been lucky to get there with the 7 game? How they deserve to be considered the top 5 Final 4 because they eliminate 2 teams but with 9 shots of the game against Tampa Bay Lightning, a goal and overtime against Buffalo, Montreal could be eliminated at the first round. Are we going to have the same kind of conversation tonight if they was eliminated at the first round or the second round? Or now, because we make all the 3 rounds and we have the different kind of conversation. So the time is now. Is it time to big trade? We talk about the saga match tonight. We're going to talk about this the next couple of minutes. And we have a lot of things to talk about. We're going to be there for 60, 90, 2 hours. We have no free time. We just have a good time together. And that's what we're going to do tonight. It's fun opinion. It's fun argument. And I'm going to listen, all of you. If you have any question tonight about the prospect Montreal Canadiens, the NHL Draft players, the rumor around the Montreal Canadiens, maybe make a proposal trade to me tonight. Maybe looking about this. And we have a plan for all of you tonight. And I'm excited to be here tonight. I have a difficult 3 weeks with health. Honestly, I was not going to be to die, but I have a lot of coughing in the last 2 weeks, and I struggling. Finally, it's done. It's over. I still coughing a little bit, but not like I'll be honest with you. I'm 95% ready, and I'm excited tonight. I'm really excited about the future of Montreal Canadiens as hockey fans. And yes, rumor or rumor, I'm excited but still realist about the Montreal Canadiens. It's very difficult to win the Stanley Cup. And we can see it right now. Between the Vegas and the Canada Hurricane. And it's not easy. It takes a little bit luck. You need to fill up almost a perfect team, 4-line players. And now, and I repeat this for years, and the people was laughing at me, the playoff is not the same anymore like it was before. We know many of you, like you have my age or you've been born in 60s, 70s, maybe 80s. Some of you see the Stanley Cup 93s, Montreal 86, the 4 or 5 years of Montreal winning in 70s. Some of you maybe see the 71 and the 60s Stanley Cup. But you see many years where the physicality of the game, the enforcer in the game, where the 4-line was big boys, and then they're going to drop the glove, and after whistle it was barking and showing and pushing each other, and now it's not the same anymore. And it is what it is. Now it's about speed, it's about forechecking, and it is about size. There are 3 elements of the game now, and you don't need. And I know you love Albert Jekai, but you don't need anymore the Delorier, the Jekai in the game. They are not. The Vegas Golden Knight does not have any enforcer. They don't have any player at 6'4" will drop the glove if it's needed. The Carolina Hurricane is showing the same thing. The game is completely the same, and I'm not focusing on Jekai. I'm just talking about the type of the player is not there anymore. And you, whatever you don't like it's okay. If you disagree with me, it's okay, but it's not the same. And the playoff right now is showing this. I think it's the series right now, Vegas and Carolina is better. I was my expectation. It's a lot of comeback. It's a lot of goal. We have 2 goaltenders struggling, and it's fun to watch. More what I expected. I thought it was Cicero would be boring and it's just not good. But I'm completely wrong about that. That's a fun, great playoff to watch. Second overtime last game, Carolina came back Vegas let a lead by 4 goals. This is the first time in NHL the team came back to tie the game 4-4. But Mitch Marner have an amazing, great playoff right now with the Vegas Golden Knight, and possible could win the Conn Smythe. It's sometimes just change one team to another team, and everything fall apart or fall on the right place. And Mitch Marner is proving the quality of the player he is right now. Whatsoever the Montreal fans accuse him year after year, he was a problem for the playoff. Maybe not only him, but sometimes you just need to have the right piece of the puzzle, complete what you already have, and to make a better team, a possible win the Stanley Cup. The chant of the coach of Tortorella over Cassidy. This series is not over yet, by the way. I'm talking like Vegas going to win. It's not done yet. Canada could come back. You don't have a goaltender where they're performing at the level of Vasilevsky for years, or many other big goaltender make the Stanley Cup the wild. Right now we have 2 goaltender below at .875 save percentage. It's a wild series. So this is what we got to you tonight, guys. A little bit presentation. And my weekend will be great. It's Monday morning in 10 Have an amazing, great night. Last night, I finished 3rd at the tournament, pool tournament. It was great. I have a very good couple. I won Friday night. Thursday night, I finished 2nd. Friday, I win. Saturday, I did not play. And last night, after my win, I went to the beautiful Sky Bar and Jean Bien, where you can sit at the rooftop and you can see all the beach and the city of Pattaya, and are hanging there with one specific cheese until 2 a.m. Just a great weekend. And I think the most important thing is not about the cheese, it's not about the Sky Bar, but it's more about my health. And my health is back. Now it's going to be back at the gym at 100%, pushing hard. And I'm ready for the summer. I'm really ready for the summer. I'm excited. You can see by my voice, I'm excited. But I'm more excited to see all of you with me tonight. And don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. And I will appreciate you can become a member of the channel here. This channel show up every single day, 24 hours. And we give you all the contents about NHL and many other sports. Dan Asham is in the house tonight. Welcome back with Colette from Winnipeg. Sandeman is in the house tonight. KCR said, I find out funny when I bought up getting Zegras, or I said, how only if we could get Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner at $12.5 million, he would not fit in the contract with the Montreal Canadiens, in my opinion. Yes, Mitch Marner, the players would fit, but not Trevor Zegras with the Montreal Canadiens. Why not, coach? Why I disagree with KC for the Trevor Zegras is because Zegras, it's not going to fix what the Montreal are lacking. We don't need additional skilled players. We need speed, but we need size, and we need physicality. If you add another Trevor Zegras with Cole Caulfield, it's going to be worse, because there are 2 players cannot fit in the system of the Montreal Canadiens on the playoff side. I like Zegras, nothing against Zegras, but if we go to add another top 6 forward, 5'10" players, 6-foot players at 135, and we cannot forecheck, we cannot hunting the puck, we cannot go through in front of the net, it will not fix what we are lack right now on the top 6. And I think we need a big players forward on the top 6. And I'm looking about a player like Tom Wilson. I don't say trade for Tom Wilson. A prototype of Matthew Tkachuk, a prototype like Brady Tkachuk. A player 6'3", 210, 220, can play physical, great hockey player, can score 25 goals, 30 goals per year, 65 points to 75 points per forecheck. A Josh Anderson type of the players, but better on the skill and on the talent. That's what Montreal need. With all the respect with Mitch Marner, with all the respect for Trevor Zegras, and more respect for Casey. For me, this is not what the Montreal are looking for. I could be wrong, and I will be wrong. But for me, to add a player that part of the starter player, it's not what I think. I think Montreal need on the top 6 forward. And yes, Marner, the cost was only Nicolas Roy, but you have to pay Marner $15 to $17 million are going to fit on that system of the salary cap for the Montreal Canadiens. On the Trevor Zegras, guys, never I want Zegras for the Montreal Canadiens. Never. I'm going to repeat, never. This is the type of players where it would upset you a lot of time by his lack of competitioning. Great where? On the shootout. But that's what we're looking for? I don't know. I just don't feel good about Trevor Zegras. Anyhow, Billy D is in the house for Nova Scotia. Ready on that one. We have Man Frank. They ask all those. Let's see what we got here. Man Freak. Here we go. They let all those fans down get bombed last 4 games. They beat all year all top players. Vanish, no, Clover, Phil, Hudson, Sarkisiski, where I disagree with you. I disagree with you. You can be upset about they got eliminated, but it was a great year. And they still the second youngest team in NHL. I see me the half of the glass full. You see it as the half of the glass empty. You better for you is to point and be negative about the Montreal Canadiens. You're not going to get this from me at all, because it was an excited, an amazing, an insane season by the Montreal Canadiens. I could not ask for more as a hockey fan. I vibe. It was nuts. It was amazing. It was excited. They got frustrated. You got disappointed. But still believe on that team. I prefer to have a team like Montreal Canadiens fans right now at the Toronto Maple Leafs fans. It's not going to be perfect. Only one team win the Stanley Cup. Only one. Is it the 31 other team fell and it's a failure? No, of course not. Of course, Montreal does not make the playoff that next year. I'll be really frustrated, disappointed. But nothing is guaranteed anymore in hockey. The parity is there. It's difficult to repeat. It's difficult to stay at the top. Every team get better. And sometimes the injuries, the things you don't expect happening. And it is what it is. But you have to look in more the positive side about that. I'm not saying you're not wrong. It's just happening. You just, at some point, that's the max you can do. And you hit the wall, and the Montreal hit a very good team, the Canada Hurricane. And that's what I believe. Anyhow, Canadian John is in the house. Welcome back, Canadian John. Thanks to be with our Canadian Live Show. We appreciate a lot. Mike, what's the big news? I cannot, the big news about airing anything. I don't know. Someone talk about the big news. I think for me it was time is now for the Montreal Canadiens. Claude Richard from Ottawa is in the house. are we going to have enough time to talk about all the rumors concerning the Montreal? That's the show is going to be there. Mr. Stefan Member is in the house, guys. Stefan Member, directly from Sweden. One of the top 20 subscribers 6 years ago. And I feel bad now. We don't see anymore Mr. Virtanen for any reason. Hopefully, Mr. Virtanen from Finland is 7 are doing well. And here we go like that. And then welcome in the house. On this one, Gary Connery knocked the door. Welcome back, Gary Connery. Gary Connery, another big fan of the Montreal Canadiens, the best driver at UPS. And then we have Billy. Peter August knocked the door. Welcome back, Peter August. A long time. Hopefully you're doing well, Peter August. You have a great summer, and you enjoy the summer. We'll have a lot of Habs action. I cannot wait. See, Gary, expect action about this one, Billy. PLW, hey, coach. Tonight, Arias with 2 hits. Baseball tonight, the Giants, I believe, play tonight, if I can recall it. I could be wrong. And, of course, PL, the Blue Jays, came back with a big win today. 5-4, 6-4. 5 run at the 6th inning on this one. At the draft. We're at the draft this year, coach is still online. So it's going to be at one location, and then you're going to get all the team at home and talking. This is the same system like last year. Dan, John, Julien. Here we go, guys. Julien Wiseman. Visitor back in the house. Ishire Larkin or Thomas, tough one guy about this one. P.S. Dan, they don't get her for the draft anymore. Here we go. You got it, my friend. Good answer. Daniel Gosselin, new subscriber. Welcome. Thanks a lot. Cool crab, Mr. Daniel Gosselin. And you can ask a question in French, guys. I can answer to you. We wait for Mr. Nartat to knock the door. Until then, I can answer to you. The Habs have to thank Tobej for getting through the 3rd round. Otherwise, they would have been eliminated done at the 1st round. Of course, Tobej played a big key X factor on the playoff. This is one where the goaltender can carry on you all the way. And Tobej has been an amazing, great year for him. Our defense game need to be addressed. We need more size on the D forward position. William, Julien, welcome back. Chris, they need more support if Zuski get injured. Yes. Of course, like any team losing players. More depth you have, better chance you stay alive. I think Tampa Bay Lightning is a great example. They lose during the season. Kisharov, Edmund, they lost a point. Serially, they still hanging there. The Tampa Bay Lightning, that's what you're looking for. If you're losing your best players, but still alive. Look what happened with Colorado without McCarr. This is the Colorado looking a great team, but when you look deep about the defensive side of the game, on the defenseman, it's really light. You talk about Tace and McCarr. Then after that, Manson, Malinsky, and then after that, you add Brent Burns, 42 to 43 years old. At some point, the money you have on the salary cap limit you to make some move. They have to pay McKinnon. They have to pay Martin Nikash. They have a big contract, and they have to, unfortunately, and McCall's coming with a bigger contract very soon. And the goaltending, it's been very so-so for Colorado during the playoff. On this one, coach, look better. Thanks so much, Canadian Giants. I look really good, to be honest with you. You feel better? I feel great. I want also Tom Wilson would be sick. Tom Wilson would be interesting, guys. This is the type of players where the team doesn't want to trade. Honestly, Washington is a team where they've been eliminated this year after a great year the year before. This is the team trade John Carlson. They never came back after that trade. That said, Wilson, I don't think it will be on the market. They tried to figure out with Ovechkin, but this is a team right now on the transformation, and it will be interesting what they're going to do during the summer on this one for the Washington with a new GM on this one. Conservative, I believe. Nico Escher or Dylan Larkin, who is better fit for Montreal if we trade happen this. Now, this is a great question, and don't let the player involved. Don't say, oh, we trade Michael Edge or Zareski, whatever. Don't worry about the trade. If you have a choice between Nico Escher and Dylan Larkin, but here's the difference between those, and you can decide what you want. Larkin brings speed. That's what Larkin is. He brings speed, drive to the net, great hockey players. He can give you a lot of points on the table. Escher is a more complete player, a 200 feet player. Good skater, great skater. Larkin more speed, but Escher is better overall, face-off wise, defensive side. He's been named many times on the Selke Trophy, like Suzuki just win it. You have to find a center complete Nick Suzuki. I think for me, in my opinion, Nico Escher complete a fit better on the system of the Montreal Canadiens. This is my own opinion. Is it a favorite player? No, it's not like it's just for me. I try to fix the player fit in the system. It's not about I prefer Escher over Larkin. Larkin is different players. And I think for me, Escher is more a playmaker. And he can drive the play, but he can make the play example to the player beside him. This is what I believe it would be better for Montreal if they have the choice between both to go with him. And he will complete more, I believe, Demidov at Larkin. That said, Larkin is a great hockey player at the same time. So it's not the killing, but it will be. Larkin is cheaper. It's going to cost at least 11 million. Escher going to cost 11 million. The salary cap, yet, Julien, I'm not sure about this. I don't know how much money they're going to get. Escher is 1 more year deal. Larkin is a long term right now. He still have 3-4 years, I believe. Larkin or his contract. I can check again to be sure about this. Larkin requests a trade during the week. Does not want to play in Canada. For what we heard, we'll talk about him a couple of minutes ago, but that's happening. Larkin guy is still up, including the upcoming season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more years at 8.7. He is 29 years old. He's a left shooter. It's not a bad player allowed. He has better deal contract on the paper compared to Nico. Nico is still at 1 more year, I believe. If my memory is good, he become UFA next year. He is a 7.2. He is 2 years younger. Both are left shoulder. That's a good thing. I think you can get. I think Escher would be hard for him to get $11-12 million because he's not a 90 point regular. He does not score 35 goals plus. He's more an overall player. I think you can get Escher contract under $10 million. That's maybe. He's 28 years old, would be completely. He can get him for 7 years. I would say, Julien, lower at what you expect about contract. I could be wrong. Mason Marchment would be a nice for the Habs. So Mason Marchment have a great year this year. He has been inconsistency since he be in NHL. He was traded for Toronto to the Florida Panthers. He had a great year when the Florida Panthers won the final. He got traded he signed as a UFA with the Dallas Star for a 4-year deal at $4 point something million. Obviously, Dallas Star had problem with salary cap. Had to give him to trade him a team request. It was an agreement between Marshman and the Dallas Star. They trade him to Seattle Kraken. Marshman become UFA this year. He's, I believe, 30 years old already. He's a big body, 6'5". He played good, but sometimes he does not play with physicality for his size. He can be the same prototype of player like Josh Anderson, exactly 30 years old, 6'5", good body. He could be an excellent top bottom six, like you said, Gary. He will request $5.5 million, $6 million. He will try to get this, but will not get that kind of money because at the end, he's an average of 20 goals per year. He had a great start at the beginning with a golden bus when he got traded, and then he fall apart. But you get the size. That's the type of player you're looking for. That's a good one for sure, Gary. Jeff, welcome. Big headquarter at Philippines, like 7.8. He saved out. There you go. Saved out there. Wow. I did not know that, Jeff. Philippines is one of my locations to look for next year, but I maybe wait. This series is over, Coach, because can only beat themselves, Peter. Yeah, you're not wrong about that because it's really better overall. More depth, Carter Hart better. We're going to talk about this, but maybe the goaltending could be a situation. Some people said they should return with Anderson. And for me, I would go with Bussy. Anderson is struggling. I don't see that. And Gary, Nico Hischier would be a perfect fit with the Montreal Canadiens. The price could be very high. I think the Habs are ready for that kind of the trade. Standerman, I was looking at the free defenseman, and I see that Trouba, 32 years old, on that list. He would be a rough defenseman. It would protect Hudson. But Jacob Trouba has been, the Scott Stevens 2.0 new area in hockey. Is fit very well. The problem with Jacob Trouba is honestly his wife, and not said on the bad things. His wife, she's a doctor. She finished her back, whatever you want to call it, in New York. And that's the reason he stayed one more year with the Rangers. He's been captain over there. He traded to Anaheim Ducks. I think he would like to stay on the West Coast. He would like to stay in USA. I don't see Trouba to looking for you in Canada. I could be wrong, but this is a kind of player you're looking for, Gary. Size-wise, physical, play Sherwood, push players around. He could be a solid top 4 defenseman, second pairing, and the third pairing. And he is fit at 32 years old. He have experience, everything like that. This is a kind of players complete a rebuild team when they go to the next level. But I'm concerned about what I just talked about, the family situation. Nothing wrong, but it is what we expect, the rumor, what I heard. And Montreal, 8:45, Chris, Peter, Trouba on the wrong side of 30 years old. Now, the skate could be a problem for him. I think he's looking for a 4 or 5 years deal, and we'll see what kind of team could get him. A team like Buffalo, Tampa Bay Lightning could be on chasing that kind of defenseman. They're missing a right defenseman. He's not going to sign with a team like a Rangers or Chicago. A team are not there yet. I think he would like to be a part of the team can win the Stanley Cup. Watch, if you don't mind, watch, if you don't mind, guys, watch the Nashville Predator. I still did not talk about anything yet, but I think we're going to see that. Um, going to get, guys, Mr. Enartap is coming very soon with us, Mr. Enartap. And we're going to open up here, guys, the second thing. Honestly, I have a lot of conversation to talk about. I didn't go any news because you guys, you did a lot of great conversation in the chat. Et voilà. We see the man, the legend, the GOAT, and we call him Mr. Enartap back in the house tonight on Sunday night. Mr. Enartap, welcome in the house.
Thank you, Coach, and great evening to everyone. Lots of things on the go, but always a little bit of time left over for hockey discussions, and there's a lot to talk about, I guess, going into next year.
Definitely, I go through the conversation with the people in the chat, Mr. Enartap, so I'm going to consider what I'm doing. Then I'm going to jump in with you about the subject we got tonight. And people ask questions, they talk about conversation, and I do ask, I will fill you up if you don't mind. It'd be great. Nikki is in the house. Mother did not want to play in Canada. RJ Calabro breaking news. NFL, thanks so much, RJ. RJ helped me a lot the last couple of games. Peter August, short term, only mean you are taking the spot of another younger prospect that should be learning. Chris, we have Miss Melina. Miss Enartap is in the house. Welcome, Miss Melina. She had a great trip, Miss Melina, and England for the soccer. Mr. Ovizio is in the house. Welcome back. I would like to see Tom Wilson with the Habs. Mr. Enartap, are you okay or not?
With Wilson? Yeah, good luck trying to get him out of Washington.
Yeah,
if that's the case.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Coach is looking for Eric Lindros. Yeah, Eric Lindros. As another subject for another time. Welcome, everybody. I'm trying to get everything. After last night, it looked like it would be Vegas, but Ab had an amazing, great season. I'm not an Ab fan. Inconnu. Welcome in the house. Thanks. We're going to talk about Vegas very soon. No problem. I heard Age and Pikov was in the trade for Matthew Nice. We're going to talk about this next couple of minutes. And hi, Coach. Hi, Mr. Victor. Welcome back, Victor Maxwell. We have a few people, Mr. Tap, and knock the door. And one of the one is RDP. Since December, playoff after 15 years, and you don't win the Jack Adams Trophy. 13-14, best record. At the end of the day, LDP, John Cooper won it, I believe, and it was his first time after he won the Stanley Cup. You have to up and down with the Jack Adams, I believe, but we'll see. Yes, Baltimore have meltdown, Prudal inning. Talking about the Blue Jays, Mr. Tap. It was fun. Claude Raymond was doing the analyst on TV Sport today at 89 years old. Have a blast just listening to the Jean Bilvaux des Expos de Montréal. Great point, PW. I think for Mr. Me to have a chance to work with Claude Raymond, you talk about classy, talk about a man with respect, and 89 years old. Great to see him. Serge Villemar is in the house. Welcome, Serge Villemar. Victor. Next deal is not longer on. New GM, Toronto. Nice does not want to go. Montreal. Congratulations to Zuski for the Selkie. Lady Bing for Caulfield. Thought that Tabage deserve award on that one. PW Claude Raymond is as class like below. I agree with you about this. Mr. Nota, we continue. Jacques Vieux is in the house. Welcome. We have live live something. Size does not always translate to physicality. We traded last year for Thompson, and his size is under Winming. You want to comment
Yeah.
about this before I comment?
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at Dobson from 2 points of view. Number one, you're still acquiring a top 10 defenseman in this league. That's not debatable in my eyes. You're looking at a guy that during the course of the year was the most consistent defender 5-on-5 in the league. Like he's very, very reliable, and contributes offensively. Now, yes, his defensive game is not where it could be, but I think he took some strides towards that this year. Now, if we're judging him based on just the playoffs, I mean, here he came in game 7 against the Buffalo Sabres, played a very good game, I thought, for a guy that couldn't close his hand over the stick, and yet he still came in and played. Like he wasn't going to go out there, and he's not the type of defenseman that's going to use his body extensively. Like he's not that kind of a physical type of defender, but he's responsible and he can put up the points. He can skate. He makes great first passes, and can get the puck out of your own end zone. So for me, I have nothing but good vibes about Dobson. I don't regret that deal at all.
I agree with you. I think one thing, he did not trade him to get the physicality of the game. It was not the
No.
purpose of that trade. The trade to get one, I think for me, he's maybe the best for the first pass. I think
Yeah.
the first pass on the exit, and the exit is amazing. He lead the block shot this season. He have a lot of good things about this. Sometimes, yes, he have a lack of physicality. He's not going to be in the face of everyone. I know that, but I think he have a more positive side of the game versus the negative side. But again, like you
Yeah.
said live, he was not traded for the physicality. He was traded for the around his talent. Pierre Nico is more grounded que Larkin. Escher would fit more around the group que Larkin. So exactly what I just said earlier, Mr. Tap. Larkin want to go play with his buddy Eichel and Vegas. On that one, we'll focus on McDavid or Thomas. Kenneth, welcome to the house. Larkin is a high man, I apologize. As a maintenance players versus Ishar. I agree with you about this one. Yeah, big right hand defenseman with the edge for the Montreal Canadiens. Over you, I will go for McDavid, big, good defenseman to center. I like Marshman Victor. Over you. And then we have François Lamarche, me sentais, score le goal de Hockey National Show. François Lamarche de retour à Sainte-Marguerite. Il est chez lui avant de partir pour la France. Oh my God! Thank you so much, François. Here we go. François Lamarche for the first goal of the game. Appreciate that. On that one. No, for Michael Pezzetta, love yet. Don't forget, guys, click on the like, all sugar, bro. We are with you, Monsieur François Lamarche. Jacques Eminem is in the house tonight. Eminem back from the wedding last night for him. Yes, Pezzetta, they will win the Calder Cup in American Hockey League. The Marlins still alive. Martin Besnet de Waterloo, de retour. Bonsoir, coach en tape. Colton Perenko, right defenseman for Lane Hudson.
If he were younger, I think it would be the perfect kind of matchup. I think he's 33, 34 years old now.
I think he's 32, but you may be right, 34, 33, 3.
Yeah, I mean, again, I always look at the possibilities in terms of what the blueprint for Montreal is that Hughes is trying to set up, and I think he's trying to evolve these players through the system that grow together and have pretty much the same age, right? Like they can fit in. Now, the odd guy at 28, 29, even 30 makes sense because you want some experience in there. But once you start hitting, I think, whatever, 32, 33, 34,
33.
it yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
4 more years, $6.5 million. First of all, we're not trade Parenko for Lane Hudson. Not allowed. The
Oh
Parenko
no,
situation,
no,
guys,
not
he
at all.
was already mentioned. He doesn't want to play in Canada. He already mentioned that. Doesn't want. He would like to prefer to stay on the Western Conference. We see, but his prem is over. And this isn't the kind of players who's going to be good in the future because the speed of the game. He's not going to get faster. He's getting lower. His speed is not there anymore.
Lower.
And I will not touch Perenko and not for Lane Hudson. Not allowed. Gary, will Florent Jekai make the ad next season? For me, there is a chance.
There's always a chance, Gary. I don't see why not. My only concern is I think this year in Laval he had a bit of a setback when you compare it to what he did the previous year in Laval. I don't know all the extenuating circumstances where there were any injuries involved or not, but I was expecting him to be more uh, polished at this stage, and we're
You're
not
right.
seeing that. So it would be hard in my like he would have to come to camp, and I think he would have to really knock the socks off of the coaching staff to
Yeah.
probably make it.
All depends who's going to be out of the lineup, right? We don't know Gallagher,
Yeah.
Doc, and really know. But I think for me, the center is already set up, so it'll be very difficult for him. I think an extra year. Take a note, guys, for Florent Jacquet, he came in the American Hockey League at underage. When I said underage, he did not finish his career in the OHL at 20 years old,
Right.
and then after that he moved to Laval. He played at 19 years old. He just turned 20 this year, and so I think another good year in Laval. He have a setback, but I think also in our tap for what I listening Pascal Vincent on the radio 2 weeks ago. He was talking about Jekai where yes, he have a little bit up and down, but he said we try to polish his game. We try to show
Right.
him a bit more the 200 feet game. So he said, sometimes in American Hockey League, if you're only looking on the productivity of the point, it could be wrong way to looking for the development of the
Judge.
player because sometimes team are looking for specific thing to teach and develop if the player can become that kind of player. So he said, his own opinion, he said maybe inconsistency for him. He didn't start the season very well. He said when he came back from Montreal, he had a low, but he finished strong overall his game. And I think there was perceived more. But said to Gary, me, I believe return to Laval, have another good year, but maybe get some kind of call up like he did this year and going to consider him. He's still, in my opinion, in the plan. He has a lot of things what Montreal does not have. The size, he's a good skater. He can play the game very well. If he can develop those kind of he's going to be only 21 years old. I think he could be a good fit in Montreal in the next 2 years. And that's what kind of player we're looking for. A big body and with physicality and for checking. So that's maybe could happen to
Yeah,
him.
that's well said, Coach. I agree with that.
Would be happy having Anderson as a teammate with Tom Wilson. Mark Elliott is in the house. Okay, going to see
Amen.
the speed need to compete in the playoff. I think Florent need to improve his skating first. That would be one area of the game for sure. Would drafting Maddox Dagenet be worldwide for the Montreal Canadiens? Is a 6'4", 200 pounds. I love, guys, I made the plan to talk about everything for the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to get there. But this is the time of the night where you can ask questions, because we don't do show every night. So, and after with me, he's going to answer to your question. We're going to touch everything, ask any question. I go on all the comments, posts, and then we're going to add more rumor, everything about Matthew Nice, everything after that. So stay tuned. Back again to Maddox Dagenet, the son of Pierre Dagenet, center, play the QM. What do you see him at the NHL draft? What is his lack of player he is?
I think if I'm not mistaken, I haven't really this year followed the junior circuit as much as I did in the past, but from my understanding, it's his consistency in the game. Like he has some really solid games where he's a force to be reckoned with, and then some nights he kind of disappears. And that's what's keeping him lower in the rankings than he should be, especially with his size, his grit. He's actually got good hands around the net from everything I've seen. But it's the consistency element, and that's something that could come with time.
Yeah, he's a late first round pick, right? He's been talking between 23 to 37, 38. Why? Because his size could be an advantage for him at the NHL draft. Maybe a team would take a chance at 26, 25, 27 to pick up a guy because he's a 6'4" center. What is lack or really need to improve? He has inconsistency of his game, and he is not a player drive to the net. He likes sometimes playing on the perimeter. He does not like to drive to the net. That's something you need to improve to get better.
Especially with that size, right?
Like you said, on the offensive side, is a good hands, good mindset about the offensive side of the game. It's this is a type of player, guys. I'll be honest with you. It could be a great pick or a boss pick. This is where there he's going to be both sides, and it could be a set of good players, but also it could be really a boss because he would never go to try to the net and lack of physicality of his game. But big body 6'4", I think it will be available at that moment, at that pick of Montreal Canadiens, at least something. But for what I see right now, because I really pay attention to the draft for the last week now, his pick could be between 24 to 35, 38. But this is where it depends. And because you have a lot of defensemen at 5'11", at the late first round pick, at the beginning second round pick, this is going to be wild. The first round pick, from 24 to 40. You're going to be named. You expect to be a second round. You're going to be jumping because it's a big defenseman, 6'4", 6'3", 6'5". They are not many, and it could be jumping more early in the draft compared before. But we have to wait about this, but a good point. PW has been a very big fan of Thompson, and I'm on the point at Quan Hughes at 515, and I absolutely agree with that part with PL. You don't have to sell it to me. I agree with you. Mark answer back to him. On this one, RG Calabro. Red is in the house. Done too early to give up on Kapanen. On that one, Nicholas, welcome. Evening all. Not sure I would say Thompson is a top 10 defenseman. However, he is maybe around the top 20. It definitely help the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, I would not be disagree with you about 10, 20, but I think he fit very well. About that, Gary. Mark Duck is already gone for me. My question of the night, every night I ask a question at 9:30 a.m. at p.m. is going to be out the next 3 minutes. Mais sur la table, Kirby Doc, do he get a new deal? It's not matter 1 year, 2 years. As a RFA, he have a minimum 3.9 or $4 million. Do you think he's going to be traded? Do you think Montreal not going to offer him a deal? We know the date is June 29, and he's going to become a UFA. A possible Montreal could resign him after that. They are the 4 options. What do you think will happen with Kirby Doc?
Personally, I think he is done in Montreal, but it's not like they're going to let him go right away. I think that they will put some qualifying offer. I think it has to be within a certain range because he's eligible for that. So he's probably not going to accept that. Is my guess. So if anything, I could see him being part of a trade, but he's got to accept the fact that the experiment of him being a centerman is done with in Montreal. Anyways, I don't see Hughes or Marty St. Louis, indicating let's keep him there and see what's going on. The game is too evolved around the way he plays the game that playing center is more of a challenge than it is something that he can ascertain in the future. I just don't see him doing that. His inconsistency is a problem. Some games, like I said, he seems like he could be returning to what his form was when he came here the first year, or what the expectations were when he was with Chicago, and they acquired him. But for the most part, it's not a consistent effort, and I get it. The injuries have played a big part of it, but what are you going to do? Like the injuries, that's an individual thing that you have to work out or work through, because it's important that you don't live with that fear. Like, I'm not going to go in the corners and play a physical game because I'm afraid I'll get hurt. The moment you start thinking that way is when you do get hurt. And so I personally think we've seen the last of Kirby Doc, but they're not going to throw him away right away. Like they're going to wait and see how they could manage him best before they do that.
Yeah, I think it could be part of the deal at some point at the NHL Draft. Maybe to jumping from 28 to 22nd and trade Doc, anything like that. He's not on the future of the plan of Montreal Canadiens. They respect, they know they trade for him, but I think they will will be out there. Mark, White Cloud to play with Lane Hudson. What do you think about Zach Whitecloud?
I've always liked Whitecloud. I'm out. Where I stand on this coach at trade deadline time. I thought that was one of the defenders, Murphy as well, that they could have tried to get. Somebody that's a bottom 4 or bottom 2 set pairing for Montreal that had some size, cleared the front of the net, cleared the puck out of the way, and just made his physical presence felt by the opposition. And we saw that in the playoffs, like especially by the time we got to the Carolina third round. It just wasn't there, and they were allowing Carolina to come in at will and go after rebounds. Positioning by the defense was not great at all, especially off of a rebound that maybe Jakub Dobeš would give up. So I would have liked to seen him here, but things didn't work out that way, and we'll see what they do this year. I still think, in all fairness and honesty, I still think that they have to address the right side of the defense, and with size, somebody that's got a bit of a mean streak in their play, and fits into the plans of Montreal before. Like, you can't bank just on Reinbacher maybe making it or not. I think that they have to play that very cautiously.
Super Chat.
Mish.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I would have liked to have seen him, but it didn't happen, obviously. So
Yeah.
we're
My
gonna move
concern
on.
about him, he never played a full year. It's another Caden Cooley, 6'2", 210 pounds, right defenseman. He's a third pairing. He play physical, but he's not play like a tough physical. White Cloud is not going to scare anybody. But the problem, he played for 50 games, 40 games, 60 games. It's never been a full year about that part. My opinion, I need bigger and more physical at White Cloud. He's a good fix because he's a right defenseman, but you're not going to get more. And I think for me, I would prefer to have David Rebacker over White Cloud overall. But no, for me, it's a fixer, a little bit like right now, like Jeremy Lauzon play for the Vegas right now.
A little bit better. A
Third
little bit
pairing,
better
right,
than
is a left defenseman. Him is a right defenseman. But this is a guy on the third pairing. About that, François Lemaire scored a goal.
Oh my God!
Thank you. He did it again, François Lamarche at the Hockey Nation Show. Mr. Lou. Lou is back in the house tonight, Mr. Tap. Every time I talk about Lou, he came now, the last couple of days. Lou is my new Lou Brock. Lou Brock, Mr. Tap. Lou Brock. That is complex. I thought it was okay in the playoff. Victor, you're not wrong. He played. Montreal played 19 games, I believe, overall. He played maybe 5 good games, 6 good games. That's it. He disappeared after he scored a goal against Buffalo at some point. That's it. He didn't do anything against Carolina like many other players. He's been who he is. It's flashing left and right and then disappear. And I don't think it would be good. Zeph, I don't think Larkin will end up in Montreal. Good point, Zeph. Hopefully you save. You have a big headquarters in Philippines today, 7.8 from Jeff announced earlier. Zeph is in Philippines. So Zeph, be safe, my friend. We think about you. Hopefully you're doing well. Larkin has too much ego from PLW. François Lamarche scored a goal on that one. Sake on the grill, Mr. with the Miss Kangaroo. Of course, a back in house in Saint Marguerite, my friend. The thing with Larkin is that you know exactly what you are going to get about him. For him, Austin, welcome in the house. Get Larkin, Austin. Problem, guys, he doesn't want to play in Canada.
Yeah, and you can forget about Larkin coming here, Coach. There's no way, no matter what Larkin wants, which is right now apparently out of Detroit for whatever reason, there's no way that Yzerman will trade within the division. Absolutely none. I don't care how good the package is.
Yep, sorry about this, Francois. Welcome. Zev Thompson will be play quality time on the power play if he gets 67 points. It's disappointing for Age that he'll need to play in American Hockey League right away. Yes and no. PS. Play. And I think, Mr. Zap, the fact now they pay the players and college changed a little bit the situation of the way it was before, you know. Yeah. Average, I would say to you, 80% people play 2 years in NCAA, then they move up to NHL. And Michael Edge is the problem, PS, is he can get double a triple more money with Michigan this year. Secondly, he's going to be another powerhouse over there. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's going to be now in American Hockey League, play on the third, fourth line, play 12, 13 minutes per game, and get maybe $80,000 per year. Compare that. Yes, development may be better in American Hockey League to know, but at the end of the day, he's not ready yet for the Montreal Canadiens anyway. And I think overall, it could be a benefit maybe in next year, not this year, but following year, he could maybe jump from NCAA to Montreal. We don't know. But I don't see negative. I think for him, he need to
No, no.
continue to develop his game. And I think that would be the best thing for him at the end.
Yeah, you're right. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think for him it was a dream to be drafted by Montreal. So I just think he wants to make sure that he gets here, and when he does, that he's permanent fixture here on the team.
Yeah. Gary talked about a little bit disappointment for Montreal does not turn to be on the to go over there. On this one, Victor talked about the Jekai. PS, I agree with him. Age has said that he would be doing it this way for his dad on that one.
That's right.
That is a good. I think Arbor has more to give. Need more play time to develop on that one. And then PS continues with the other conversation with Red. Conversation, Gary with Pierre Lebaudot. Try to get an answer about this N26. Washington can keep Wilson. Washington last 21 season. Advance pass second only one time. Montreal during that time, 21 years, 4 time. Advance for the second round. So they can keep Wilson. Michigan.
You won a cup.
Sound a bit like Kubidak.
Who does? Sorry. Oh, Dejanay. No, I don't think so. I think he's got a little bit better hockey IQ, and I think, I mean, his defensive game, it will improve. He will be. I think he will be eventually a solid two-way player, but it's just the inconsistency right now is what I see. Now, again, I have to preface by saying I haven't seen a lot of him in play, but from what I've seen, that's sort of what I gathered.
Yeah, I think Dashner is more talented on the skill wise, on the with hands, everything like that. But for the type of players like lack of to go dry to the net, I agree with him about that one. Nicholas said to you, do you see any sure NHLer late in the first round, or is there only hit or miss category on your opinion? Nicholas talk about the first round pick, I believe.
Yeah, like any NHL draft, you just don't know sometimes where your gems are. Like, obviously, when you're talking about a top 5 or even top 10, there's a very good probability that they will make the NHL and they'll have some kind of impact. Usually in the top 6, or it could be a top 4 defender. But later on in the rounds, it is more hit and miss, and it's a lot of it is between the ears and how these players sort of adapt. Like, they could have a lot of success at the junior level, and then when they hit the NHL, it's a little bit different. Or even when they play in the American Hockey League, it's a different brand of hockey. So they have to adapt at each stage, and they have to be willing. They have to be willing to improve their game as they move on to the next level of hockey. If they're going to remain at the same level, well, everybody else will catch up, right, and surpass that player. So it's a bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah, it's like everybody, it's only one players, to make it. Always a surprise every year. Lane Hudson was one of them. Jason Robinson, 42 overall pick. Durant Kempe, 29. Jake Ottinger, 26. You have some players can pick at between 25 to 35, where they're going to make a good career in NHL. But it's only one every 3 years could become a top 6. You have a couple of them could become a middle 6, bottom 6 in NHL like a journeyman, and the same thing with the defensemen. Not many of them are picked at that level, at that rank, and they become a top 4. They maybe become a defenseman 5, 6, 7 in NHL. It's every year. It's difficult to mention one specific name. In my opinion, the only one I would say to you right now, and two, but one of them is really the defenseman from Sweden, played the SHL, is a left defenseman. He's a 6'4", big size, playing with professional this year, but he's 19 years old. So he's on the second year NHL draft. Is Armar Jensen or something like that. His last name, I screw up, but it's Armar Jensen. It's a long name. That's only one. He's on the radar for the Montreal Canadiens at 28. But again, why you said that? Because that's the kind of defenseman, a little bit older, and he could play in NHL at some point. But you never know who can pick up, and then boom, at 34 and have a great year in NHL. But you don't have a big name at 25 to 34. You have the two brothers for Montreal, Rum for the WHL. Liam is the number 1. His brother is number 2 late in the draft. You have a couple of players could be picked. What interesting is going to see, in my opinion, is where he's going to get out Rulebrook. Rulebrook has been a top 10 in NHL draft 2 years ago. He have another story like Michael Edge. Rulebrook, not on the dad pass away, but he's really struggling this year. And he dropped from top 10 to 25, could be 30, but he's interesting. He's a forward 6'5". This is a guy like Maxime Dagenet, where he's going to be great or a boss. He's not like François Lamarche talk about, you can be big, but you not play physical. This is Rulebrook. Is another good name to watching about this one every time. We're going to talk more about the NHL draft for the next couple of days, but try to pick up everybody like that. Jason, festival.
I think you were thinking of William Hackinson. He's the guy from Sweden, the defender, left defenseman.
I think yes, exactly him. I think the problem is like Montreal, another left defenseman. They could be there on this one. They have a lot of forward at 5'11". Where at the end of this draft, but we have to wait, honestly, what happened about this. And 26, Molson, Gordon Hughes need to build a time machine, go back to 2005 draft and win the lottery. Crosby. I like Doc, but too many fans down. I think he should move on. Sandman Doc would be traded a part of the package deal. Ab will qualify for Dak. They don't want to lose any asset. Dak is not a position to refuse anything right now. And Ab can be traded for M hockey stick if they need. Luc Laverson is in the house. Welcome back, Luc. I will trade Dak for 1,000 hockey stick. Salut François. Red is dangerous if you think that you should always make the right decision for the play. Mark, the experiment of Dak ever been top 5 is over. Not spending $5 million plus for the... I agree with you. For me, it's move on, and we'll see. Thank RJ for that one. Coca-Cola is getting expensive nowadays. Have to been filled up. And I believe Calgary is interesting, and Doc have him a part of the parking deal about that one. And Montreal have a good playoff. Tampa have love first round last 4 years. Buffalo make a playoff run. Second round, Montreal have 22 goals. as a rookie, and you hook Kapanen about that one. Try to pick up any question, guys, and then I'm going to move on for what we want to talk about this on this one. Zev, Coach, thanks. We have a lot of wall shaking. Yeah, you're welcome, Zev. Taking, I can do without Larkin. I'm probably the first line center. Kapanen 22 goal as a rookie, played with another rookie, and New Hook. You should keep Kapanen. I like Kapanen, Victor. American hockey is not very romantic league to play hockey. Difficult schedule, traveling, and it's terrible. Of course, look at Rumours as Age will get 800 this year, 900 on that one. Welcome, go, leave, go. Marlies off of the Calder Cup final. Congratulations for the Marlies. Jeff at Toronto. Apparently, interview Joe Pavelski for the head coach. Interesting. RJ Calabro. Nicholas, will things if it's Montreal trade for the second line center? Zarowski show he is to play top 6. Then what will happen to Age and the long run here? About that, Age was rumor, and the nice trade is not an intouchable. The rumor is true. Is that? I'm going to stop to Gary Cournoyer right there because we have a lot of talk about this. Montreal Canadiens rumor. Have a lot news to talk about. So first of all, Mr. Tap, Zuski win the Selke Trophy. Congratulations for Nick Zuski. Best forward defensive, whatever they call it anymore. Cole Caulfield win the Lady Bank Trophy. Congratulations. Talk about Johnny Goudreau. Congratulations. 2 players, Mr. Tap, have awards and they're going to be at the ceremony in Vegas at some point. And the people talk about Matthew Nice, Mr. Tap, and I want to bring you there talking about Matthew Nice. I don't know if I can get it right here on this one, Mr. Tap. This is what I want to talk about, this right there. And here we go. Ab rumor. Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens at the trade deadline, Mr. Tap, Matthew Nice. Now, you have a conversation I want to hear from the people and from you. At the trade deadline, it was a trade between Toronto and Montreal, and at the last minute, it was too late.
Allegedly.
Was too late about that. That's a rumor. I don't know if it's right, wrong, whatever it is. Now, the expert, and I did not talk about Gilbert Delorme, but I'm talking about David Panotta, mentioned Zarowski was in the deal, plus a prospect, plus 2 first round for Matthew Nice. Another rumor coming from Marek now said Zarowski plus Pickford, a plus 2 round pick was in the trade for Matthew Nice. And finally, Draeger said it was Michael Edge in the deal and for Matthew Nice. So you have different rumor, but different expert. It's been like this forever. Pagnoda, he hit the target one time every 1,600 posts, but it is what it is. I want from you to tell me, all right, would you trade for Matthew Nice? If you trade for Matthew Nice, people in the chat, let me know. And what you were willing to pay. The show tonight is about it's time now for the Montreal Canadiens. So my question to you, forget the trade deadline. Now, someone said earlier in the chat, now you have a new GM, they're not going to trade Matthew Nice, everything like that. That's okay. But if you are back at the trade deadline, and Montreal are looking to get Matthew Nice, and are you willing to spend, to pay for him, Michael Edge, or Zarowski, or Pickford, whatever it is? Or is it a good deal, a good deal, it's good happen, it's good thing it did not happen for the Montreal Canadiens to not get Matthew Nice. So you guys, it's your time in the chat. And Mr. Nartap, let me know about Matthew Nice, your situation, or if you heard something else. Let's go away.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to analyze here, Coach. I mean, right there, if you look at what you put up on the screen, here you have three insiders: Pagnotta, Merrick, Drager. You can even throw Elliott in there. I mean, they had varying news to that particular rumor, and I think at this point, it's you can make the argument which side, Montreal or Toronto, is leaking out this information with names, which is really not very practical and not very commonly done in the NHL, where names are actually discussed. And I think that there's some kind of harboring resentment over some of the things that were done, like in the press conference. At one point, I think Hughes mentioned the name Marner in regards to a question that was asked about top line not producing. There was a resentment that from Montreal's end, that when Pelly had his press conference, that he brought up names like Hage in his conversations, and the train being Buffalo and Montreal coming out of nowhere that they didn't anticipate. And I think it's all linked to that. And if you're Chalka, the new GM for Toronto, to me, it makes sense. Like, you want to make it look like your previous predecessor was doing a bad thing, and now you're going to veto the deal. It looks good on him, right? I think if he wants to have the fan base and the Toronto people sort of start acknowledging that what he's doing is right, then of course he's going to bring up this kind of stuff. I think there was very little to any truth. They may have kicked tires on what it would take to get somebody like Knives, but I don't think that that's the direction that was Montreal was going to go. Like, there's nothing wrong with Knives. I think he's a excellent player. The guy's 6'2", and in a bad year he got 66 points this year. So that's pretty good. He weighs, I think, 230 pounds or something to that effect. So he could be the prototypical power forward. But what's Montreal's needs? Montreal's needs are, if they can get a winger, I think that ranks number 4 on their list. I think that what they need to get is that the defenseman, the right-handed defenseman with size, grit. They need to get their 2C position. And Matthew Knies does not fill any one of those two categories. So to say I'm going to give up Zarowski, Pickford, 2 first-round picks, even though they're low picks for the upcoming years, I think it's a bit of an overpay. And I would not do it, but I just think that this is a lot of clickbait. And again, this is just my opinion, but it's clickbait, and it doesn't make sense to me that a team would trade within their own conference. Like, something like this can come and bite you in the ass very quickly when you do something like this. And I don't think either side is prepared to do that.
Yeah, a lot of good point about this one for sure. A lot of people talk about Albert Jacquet. What do you think of Rob Blake and Nashville? It's McFarland.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I think they signed him, didn't they? I
Sorry?
think they signed Blake as hockey operations.
I think
thought
it's
they
not
signed,
assistant GM.
or maybe assistant GM. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the title is, but I think Nashville did pick him up.
On that one, I tried to pick up every comment. Yes, I thought Pagnotta, and also said how first round on that one. Talk about the trade. Your next trade, Cole, but then you will need to get another physical defenseman. Cole, does not make sense on that one. Boogie. Nice is not even a center. No, he's a winger.
Exactly my point. If you're going to already give those kind of assets away, then what are you going to give away to get your 2C? What are you going to give away to get that defenseman that you so sorely need on the right side?
Then it would just throw in on this one, TSN, Rumours, everything like that. And Nice is a winger. I will not break the bank for Escher, Bang, a center. I will break the bank. If what Zarowski, not Michael Edge and 26. No, Michael Edge name was mentioned by Drager and 26. The Roger owners probably does not know one NHL player's name, but now Nice owns Michael Edge. About this one, rumor. The rumor is real because Sportnet RDS will not publish it without a credible source. About this one, the Glenfortin 6-3.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it.
Let's remember, DSN really stand for Toronto Sport Network on this one, Jacques View. Let's call it inflation about this one. The kind of the stuff coming clearly come out from Hughes or Gordon, passing journalists, and to put the pressure on the league. That's similar on top. I let people talk about Albert Jacquard in the chat. I would like to hear from you. I'm going to go back to where we're supposed to be. Michael, Albert Jacquard, people think it will start with PLW. Nothing wrong, by the way. He think Albert Jacquard could get an offer sheet by a team at $4 million for a deal of 5 years or 3 years at $4 million plus. Do you think Montreal would match up or not? Or do you think it could happen?
I don't think they spend that type of money on somebody that's at best going to be a third pairing defenseman, right? And worst case scenario, he's coming in sporadically as the seventh defenseman. So I don't think that happens. If a team is desperate to, have that type of player on their team, then obviously they'll make an offer sheet. But I look at it from this perspective. I think Arbor, for the most part, is very happy to be here in Montreal. I think he's a big part of the team. I think that he works well with everybody that's there. Yes, is he getting the ice time that he probably would like to have? No, he's not. But that's something that maybe he just has to work harder and aspire to, and trust get the trust out of Marty St. Louis that'll play him more often. I think Montreal will make him an offer for sure, and I think he'll be happy with it, whatever that amount is. I'm not going to speculate on that right now, but I think he'll want to stay in Montreal, and it would be the smart thing to do because you need somebody like Arbor in your lineup.
Yeah. I don't see this happen, Mr. Hazard.
Not an offer sheet. I don't think so, unless a team is really desperate.
No. I think he's going to resign with Montreal at 1.7.5 for 2 years. In my opinion. People say I don't like Jacquard, everything like that. It's not a point, but I will say to you, Mr. Tap, sometime he's never been drafted, right? He's undrafted players, right? I'm sure this is a great family, the Jacquard family. It's not a bad family at all. The parents grow those kids with, with mindset to be blessing with their life, and it's all about working hard and do your best. I think they are respectful people, and this is only for me, guys. This is not coming from nowhere.
No, you're right. You're right, Coach.
I think for me, he will accept, and he likes Montreal. He liked to be there. He enjoyed to be with Montreal Canadiens. And Montreal Canadiens are happy about Jekai. I think we know. I think we don't know the under behind the story between the staff of Montreal Canadiens and Albert Jekai. You know, this is not a Montreal Canadiens. They really care about the players. I'm sure they talk and they explain to him and what they're looking for, what they expect, what he need to do, everything like that. I think for me, Jekai is still a RFA. He's limited at some point. Of course, he would like to play more. Of course, he would like to be on the ice more often. But I think overall, the big picture for both sides is going to be a 2-year deal at 1.75 point, maybe 2 million because the money and the increasing, the salary cap increasing, right? I think he's going to resign in Montreal. He's going to be how you said that, like not respectful, but he's going to be he recognized the Montreal, give him a chance.
He's going to be appreciative.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think this is why I see the end of that story about that. Yes, he can get on the first sheet, but this is not a type of family I believe are looking for. And I think the fact both of them are inside the Montreal Canadiens, that we consider helping the relationship. I think this is my feeling, Mr. I mean, you know, I've been hard about Albert Jekai, and I have been not negative. I will recognize two things, Mr. Tap. One, Jekai keep everything simple. One, Jekai play inside of his limit. All right?
Yes.
And if he can improve his first pass, if he can improve his cap control on the backwards and everything like that, he will go to make mistake. It's not a big deal for me. But I think that's why he can develop those 2-3 areas of this game. Jekai is an important piece of the puzzle for the Montreal Canadiens. We're talking about a right defenseman. We're talking about physicality. We're talking about size. Since the beginning of the show, he has all the attributes to be a good player for Montreal. This is what.
Except he's left-handed.
This is the only thing is the negative about him. He did not develop, and this is because maybe the lack of the play, everything like that, everything. But he did not have that kind of curve or get better year after year. Like, you know, to get another step of his game. He's get better today like he was before. But is it good enough to be a part of the Montreal at long term? I don't know. But I think for me, this is what we are right now. And I would be honest with you. I gave more chance to him to stay with the Montreal at Kirby Dak to stay with the Montreal. I think that's what my feeling about Albert Jekai. And that's what my feeling. That's I think about this. And it's about loyalty. I think that family has been that way. If you follow his mom, the way she talk, they love Montreal, and I think they would accept that kind of deal. That's what I feel about Albert Jekai. I don't know how you feel about this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been about allowing him the opportunity, and by that I mean time on ice to develop his game. And it's hard to develop your game if you're not playing more than 7-8 minutes a game. And what it does also is it puts a strain on your top 4 defenders to have to play more every evening. So if you want to get him to a certain stage, you also have to have that trust that he can develop and do what he's supposed to be doing. I've seen definite growth in him. I think he's a little bit more disciplined now. He's not going after every single player to look for a fight, which is smart. He picks and chooses the times when it's right in the game, if that's ever really even needed. I thought in the playoffs when he played the 7 or 8 games in a row, I thought he for me he played decently. I didn't see him making a lot of mistakes. Just didn't play enough time. And then when Struble came in, it changed the complexion of the entire series in Carolina. When I thought maybe they could have used somebody in front of the net to play a little bit more physical. I think I agree with you. I think he signs for 1 to 2 years because right now he's just a victim of the numbers on the team, right? And you have many left-handed defenders. Is a trade in place maybe for a Struble or a Carrier, or possibly even somebody else that would open up a door for Jack-Eye to be a permanent fixture? Well, if that's the case, I think we'll know in the span of 1 to 2 years. If he sees that the writing is still on the wall and it's the same as it was this year, up until this year, then expect the trade somewhere along the point. But I think it's a business first and foremost. But the way Hughes likes to conduct his business is that he creates that culture, that climate where there's an entrustment between player, coaches, management, and the team overall.
You're right about that, GF. A good point about this. Of course, any player play 3 minute period should be advanced to fail. That foul for the players. Mark, speaking of the players who need deserve an opportunity, what about Adam Ekstrom?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and the lovely thing about Engstrom is he can, even though he's left on the left side, he can also play on the right side. He's done that in Laval as well. I think he's probably, from everybody on Laval right now, I think he's the most NHL ready, whether forward or defender. But will it be with Montreal necessarily, or is he going to be used as a trading chip for something bigger?
Unfortunately, he's stuck and the ladder of the Montreal Canadiens.
And it's a good problem for Montreal to have.
Yes.
Let's keep that in perspective.
But here's what my point behind that. First of all, he's not going to be Laval for many more years, right?
No.
This year is really where he need to figure out. The Montreal need to figure out with Adam Ekstrom. The point is this, that is it Adam Ekstrom better to Madison, Hudson, Cooley, and Thompson? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Not right now, right? A potential it could be better, but I don't think he's better at the top four. That gave us number 5 and number 6. He's a left defenseman. He's not a right defenseman. He can play on the right, but it's hard to play on the right defenseman in the NHL. It's not like easy, right? And Montreal have right now Carrier and Rebacker on that situation right there. That said, Montreal now he has to compete against Albert Jekai and Jero Strobel on the left side for the Montreal Canadiens as a defenseman number 5, number 6. I think for me, he is the most talented, skilled players compared for the both players I'm talking about. Jekai is Strobel. What both of them bring, it does not what Engstrom bring, is honestly the physicality of the game, right?
Yeah.
And because of that situation, because he cannot play on power play, he cannot play on the PK where Carrier, Thompson, Cooley, and Madison, and you can add also Hudson, don't give him a chance to play on the PK. He's limited of what he cannot bring more of what they already have. If he was a kind of is a good size, he's a 6'2" defenseman. If he was bringing the physicality of the game, right, like more physical at his game, he would be in front of Strobel and Jekai. I think for me, in my opinion, what it will happen to me in the next couple of weeks or month, Montreal will have to decide one of the two have to go, Jalen Strobel or Adam Ekstrom. They will have to get there. That would be not good for Engstrom to return Laval. He will request at some point his agent. We said, look, he need to play in NHL. I'll be honest with you, he could play with Chicago and all. He would be on the top 5 defensemen in Chicago. And many other
Yeah.
team, he could be on the lineup every night to play in NHL. But he's stuck on that one. He is a prototype player, a little bit like Mike Madison. He's a great defenseman. I always love Adam Ekstrom. But the problem is the Montreal, what they don't have and what they're looking for does not fit exactly for Adam Ekstrom. And in my opinion, they will have to figure out how we do with Strobel or we do at Engstrom. And I believe now, I did not check this. I will have to check. I'm not sure he can return, and I think he could be again on the exempt waiver, but he's limited about this. At some point, you have a limit, right? But this is a good question for Mark. This is a player I always admire. I'm always worried about him because I think he have the potential to be a force sling in NHL. That said, I'm not sure he will be, but he's limited. It's hard for him to push my top 4 players, as just mentioned to you, with the Montreal. So I don't know what he's going to do with him.
Yeah, I think it'll be part of a trade package for sure. If not Engstrom, then that the room for him to move up will be made by dealing either Struble or possibly even Jackeye if they go that direction. I don't know.
Yes. Absolutely right about this one. So be interested. Mark Ab will not compete for the cup with Strobel and the lineup. I absolutely agree with you about this. I always said this, Montreal have never been a good club for Sweden for whatever reason. Nicholas, Nicholas, you're not wrong, but when you draft player a 3rd round, Matsis Norlander is a good example, Mr. Notap. It's not easy for the Sweden players, if at least you're an exception, to play on the 3rd pairing in NHL. Because what they're looking for on the 3rd pairing in NHL is different kind of player, like a Sweden players. Some of them you're going to have exception, but it's a good point, Nicholas. It's not easy for Sweden players to stay in NHL. Maybe like the Finland players. At least you're a very good player.
I think he's if I'm not mistaken, I think he means in Montreal, not necessarily the NHL, which I would disagree. Like some of our best players that we've had in the past, like Matt Naslund and like these guys have been corner pieces of Montreal's organization for many years, and I don't think that they sit back and sort of think, well, this one's not a Canadian player or an American player, so we're not going to give them the opportunity. I think the opportunities are given to them.
Jacques Vieux said maybe to consider to trade Mike Madison. I would say to you, not allowed.
No, it's we saw his value. I mean, obviously, and he brings the experience too. He's been around. He's probably one of the senators in that you need on the team that will help you through a playoff series. I just don't want to see him playing as much ice time as he did this particular playoff, because when he's the typical defender. When he plays too much, that's when he makes mistakes.
You're right. San said, would you consider to trade Carrier to pay a part of the package deal to give room for David Rebacker?
Trade Carrier? Yeah, I mean Carrier, I don't think is a part of Montreal's future. I think if he stays a year or two, I get it that you could use him as a penalty killer, he blocks shots, but I mean he also gets manhandled quite a bit in terms of physicality. Like he gets targeted consistently by many teams, and that's the word around the league. It's tough to see him get hit as much as he does because you get to a point where he's not gonna be as um, swift or quick to want to handle the puck, and that's a problem. But I don't. Having said that, I don't think he's necessarily a part of the future moving forward. Like he might be here for a year or two, but I think that's it. When his contract expires, it's
I,
over.
I think Mark said, you're not going to win with Strasbourg. I would say to you guys, you're not going to
No,
win with Alexandre Carrier, the
no.
Stanley Cup. You need to be bigger. You need to add. He's a good guy. He's a good heart.
Yes, he's wonderful.
You know, he's
Yeah,
a great teammate. It's a lot of great, but if you want to go next level, like Mark said, you need better. And we got exposed on the third pairing defenseman on the playoff. We saw that, and that's okay because we're not there yet. We're not done yet. Obviously, David Rebecca, we don't know. That's the set that you cannot trade Carrier because you don't know exactly what you get for David Rebecca yet. We have to wait next year. I will not trade Carrier yet because we don't have a lot of right defensemen. But I think at the end, David Rebecca, it could be a good solution for the Montreal Canadiens to become maybe the one could be with Lane Hudson. We have to wait. Not confirmed, not officially, I'm guarantee you that. But I think Montreal Canadiens need to add a right defenseman with 30 years old, 29 years old, 32 years old. One, they're going to be close to win the Stanley Cup, play physical, to be a big body, a 6'4", 6'3", and play that kind of lack of what we don't have. We have everything else. We have a great defenseman, but I think that's what we're looking for. And we don't know yet who he's going to be. It's not necessary you need him right now, this summer. I don't think so. I think Montreal need to focus on the second center or another winger on the top six, if you believe. And and I know some of you like Kapanen. I think N26 talk about Kapanen, but Kapanen for me, for the last 2 years, and I don't know because the schedule, but he fall apart after February every year. Last year he traveled for different team, I understand that, but this year, guys, he has 0 goal the last 23 game, and he did not have any impact in the NHL. I think he's a good center. I don't think he's a second number 2 in the NHL, and Montreal need to find a way to get that kind of the center for on left and right for
center right
Montreal
away.
Canadiens. On this one, PL, you're right. Taking, you're right. Mark continues to be right on that one. But again, I believe, and I want to talk about to finish with Rumours because time is now. That was the question tonight, guys. And I want to share it with you. Before that, Mr. Notar, very quickly, we don't have to comment, but I want to give you guys the Habs Summer 2026, and then we're going to move on to the Rumours. I'm going to finish the show. Don't forget, guys, the NHL Draft 2026 is going to be June 26, 27. Same process like last year. Montreal have 8 pick this year. They don't have a 5th round pick, but they have the Winnipeg 4th round pick this year, and they have Carolina, I believe, the 7th round pick for a total of 8. The UFA market is July 1st. The Santa Claus is going to be there. And the RFA guy for the Montreal Canadiens have to get an offer contract June 29. This is the deal, the date. Montreal RFA are Zachary Bolduc, have Kirby Doc, Joe Villano, and Albert Jekai. They have other players in Laval I don't want to talk about, but they are the 4 players Montreal Canadiens have to make a deal or to offer a sheet, a contract, a deal. June 29, this is the last. Why June 29? Because if they don't give an offer sheet to the players, and they don't have to sign the contract, Mr. Tap, it's just to put on the paper a 2-year deal at $2 million, example, for Albert Jekai.
Yeah.
That's simple. He doesn't have to say yes or no. When they do that, they protect the right of the players to stay with the team for the UFA. If they don't give a contract, example for Kirby Dak, and they decide, you know what, we don't want him, but Kirby Dak July 1st, 2 days later, he become UFA and he can offer his service to everybody. That's the reason the June 29 is the date for offer sheet for the players. So I just want to talk about this guy. We can come back later for the summer of the Montreal Canadiens. What player they targeting and what they we'll have a time to talk about UFA the next couple of weeks. But I just want to share me with you my percent of that. Honestly, time is now, and the Rumours 2026 is already start weeks ago. I don't want to talk tonight about Montembeault return. I know some of you talk about Montembeault, some talk about Gallagher. We're going to talk about this more, but I want to finish the show, guys, with the Rumours. We have Nick Ashire, we have Dylan Larkin, Mason McDavid, Vincent Trocheck, Robert Thomas. We talk about Connor McDavid during a couple of weeks ago. We heard Tom Wilson. We heard Alexis Lafrenière. I heard Dylan Strome. Many names on the top. And the Rumours, I talk about this, and the Rumours I want to share it with all of you. And the subject was, is it a time now? You have to tell me in the chat. Yes, Montreal need to trade this summer for a second center or a winger. It's not matter. A top six. Let's go that way. A top six. If you're willing to do it, is it a time now? Tell me yes or no. If you said yes, who player you targeting? And thirdly, who are you willing to trade for? Right? Because we don't only get Nico Ashire for nothing. You have to give players. Who are you willing to sacrifice to get those kind of players? And you're going to tell me, oh, but Thomas is not going to be on the trade. Guys, I'm just name what we heard for the last 2 weeks. And it's going to be like this, like we did last summer, Mr. Tap, with Sidney Crosby all summer. So it's your turn to talk. Open this conversation. We have about 5-10 more minutes, guys. Want to maybe a little bit more. But what do you think Montreal is going to do this summer? Holding? Sorry. Wait or go all the way to get what they are missing, a top six forward?
Well, we outlined earlier, and you did even prior to that, Coach. You outlined the needs that Montreal has. Now, I think Montreal will be aggressive in trying to fill those roles and those gaps in 100%. Will it all be done this summer? I probably think not. Right? Like it's a big ask, right? I think the 2C, if something that third round in the playoffs against Carolina showed us, is that you need that. We were also complaining about maybe not the first line not necessarily meeting the expectations point wise that they should have. Well, yeah, that's because you don't have a second center to take the pressure off of the amount of time that Suzuki plays on the ice. I think if you have to split the defenders that have to play your top players, and you got two lines that are clicking really well, it's hard. It's hard for the opposing team to keep you intact. Now, having said that, you look at this list, and each one of those players to me has many different assets that they bring to the table. I like the fact that, with the exception of Trocheck, I mean, they're all young and they fit into the system Montreal wants to try to move forward in. Personally, I'd like to see somebody like Nico Hischier coming. I think that he's probably the best of them in terms of two-way players, and has done what he's done the most consistent in time. Thomas is another great option. And then I would put probably, I mean, I like the grittiness that somebody like Larkin brings in, and he's the perfect 2C, but I don't think that they trade within the division. So I think Larkin's really off the table. Plus, I'm not sure he wants to go to a Canadian team. McTavish, there's small red flags there. As much as I like McTavish, and I think He does bring scoring touch. He's got some good ruggedness to him as well, and he's not small, so he would help. Trocheck would be good too, but is an older player, right? So depending on the deal, that's the direction you go. For me, the two top guys would be Nico Hischier and Robert Thomas. I think that's what would suit Montreal the best. I think they both have very friendly contracts, if I'm not mistaken. I know Thomas is signed for the next 5 years. I'm not 100% if it's 5 or 6, and I'm not sure how much he has, but it's definitely more than 2 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of conversation. That's what I like to do, those kinds of shows. I wish we have a lot of people here because this is great to hear proposal. Player want it. Some people don't want it. Some people, Jacques said, we are ahead of the schedule. We don't have to make a trade right now. New Jersey only trade Escher to Montreal if Sakaski is part of the trade. Send the man Escher for Dak, Strobel, Beck, and a first-round pick. Not good enough. Send because you have the other side of the deal, right? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Thomas is going to leave the Blues, in my opinion. I think Montreal Canadiens never going to trade for a player over 28 years old. I could be wrong, but they're not going to get this. This me, I believe. They're not going to trade for Trocheck at 33 years old. Montreal are looking for a player fit inside of the bracket ages.
Right.
That's what
I mean, they would have probably taken a chance as a rental. That being said, if it was a 1 year the playoff run, I could see that, but I don't see it, long term for Montreal.
Absolutely about this one. Look, Escher is 1 more years at 7.2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Contract guys, Escher 1 year, Larkin 5 more years. McDavid, he's RFA. He signed a 7.2 last season for 2 years, I believe. Trocheck, he still have a couple of years. Thomas is still a 5 years deal. Thomas, Larkin, in my opinion, are not on the market to go with Montreal. I don't see that at all, in my opinion. Trocheck is too old. They'll come now to Escher and McDavid, in my opinion. I would bring you a name, Dylan Strom, and you have the the second part, right? The option B or C, if you want to call it, around the NHL for the center. It could be available at some point. We don't know. I don't think Montreal would trade for Shane Wright. People, his name is Nick there.
No.
The other player and the Kings is Byfield. Could be on the market. But the problem is the Los Angeles Kings are targeting a player like Larkin to get Byfield out of the Kings. I believe that would be my point about Byfield. You need to go a little bit more deeper to get a center. The name of Nico Hischier is because they have a new GM over there. And the name of Hischier is 1 year deal. He's going to be available after the July 1st to get a new deal. I still believe he will be the Devils. If the Devils trade him, are looking for sure, a player already established in NHL. They're not going to trade Hischier to get prospect and wait for 3 more years, Mr. Tap. The Devils are right now he's the best year. You know what I mean? Like they have Meyer, they have Pratt, they have players they already established. They want to win. They don't want to wait 3 more years. So the Michael Edge, the Zareski is not good enough for them. And Montreal, we have to sacrifice the players if you want to get that kind of players. Who they can sacrifice? There's nobody, you're not going to get guys, Michael Edge or Zareski to bring an established center in NHL like Nico Hershiser. You will have to sacrifice a players. Which one are you willing to sacrifice? Demidov, Suzuki, Caulfield, Sakaski, Hudson, Kenan Coley, Jacob Fuller, Tobesh. Do I miss one? I don't think so. They are the top player for the Montreal Canadiens. You have to give to get something. Now, if you think about a team like Vancouver, where they have Elias Pettersson, I don't want to get Elias Pettersson. It's not my point, Mr. Tap. My point is Vancouver are not in the same situation like New Jersey. Does it make sense? Like Vancouver looking for long term.
Rebuild, yeah. They're
are
looking for picks.
Now. This is what you have to fill up, everybody have to understand. McDavid, I think the price is lower because they have not a great relationship with Pat Burbick every time. They're not going to give it. But that's what you have to look about this guy. It's not easy. The time is now. I think for me, Montreal need to improve the top six. Is it a winger? Is it a center? I don't know. But Montreal cannot wait. In my opinion, the development of Michael Edge and Zareski 3-4 more years until they really believe. I think Montreal Canadiens have to go now. Now, I don't know what is the right player right now. It's Rumours. That's what we talk about this. We don't know yet. We don't know a player on the market. Right, we don't know yet. And I think Nico Hershiser complete Nick Suzuki. But the problem is on top, we don't have a big size center line. Dano is not big. Jake Evans is not big. Niski is not big. Hershiser is not big. And I don't think it's maybe that's what you have to looking for. It's a bigger center, Montreal Canadiens. And this is where I'm not confused. I know it's time, but at some point we have to be reasonable too. We cannot trade Caulfield to get Thomas just because we have to get Thomas. Does it make sense? Like
no, you fill a hole and create another one by doing something like that. You have to build around your core. That's the key thing. Now, having said that, more than likely it might not be any of these five, right? I think that one thing Hughes has shown us is that he thinks outside the box, and if he can create a situation where he works from strength, and we're our strengths right now. We have a lot of left-handed defensemen. We spoke about that earlier. We now have a good situation in net, right? Here we drafted Fowler to be our future goalie. Dobesh has come out of, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but because I've pumped his tires all year long that he can play as a number one, and you still have multiple hanging around. So you do have a little bit of strength there as well if you had to. And you got a couple, forwards, but the prospects are there. They still have picks. You could put a nice deal together, and it might not be for any one of these five. That's the element of surprise, I think.
Yeah. Good night, Gary. Good night, PW. A lot of great conversation that chat, guys. And I don't want Peterson. I was just mentioning the name. Luc Lafortune said, can you always surprise us with a name we don't expect, and then boom, you make a trade. You're right about this. Mark, to give you an answer for Valenkin. Valenkin is right, is still with the Dynamo, if I can recall it properly. We have to look about this. But the problem is the KHL, he have no spot. I think he will play in the KHL next year. He would like to stay with this. I think it's the Dynamo, the Spartan. But the goaltending situation was already filled up over there. Valentin have a great year. and he need to be on the KHL. He still have 1 more year deal, I believe, so he cannot go nowhere. But he have a great year overall for the Volunteers. We don't talk about the goaltending situation, but Laval have no goalie next season, and they have to figure out for what happening about this. That's the reason I believe Montembeault is not going to be traded yet. He's going to be on the first priority for Montreal Canadiens because of that situation. I think he would like to keep Montembeault and maybe start Fowler and Laval next year. That's my point of view. That's what I believe it could happen. I could be wrong here, like I've been wrong many times. But Montreal Canadiens is going to be very interesting to look about. And they cannot, honestly, and I want to bring this because N26 bring this on the chat, Mr. Tap. We have to be honest. It's not been a great playoff for the first line for the Montreal Canadiens. They're struggling at some point on many ways. 5-on-5 example. But for me, Mr. Tap, this is the type of the situation where it's a learning. It's not like they're never going to perform in the playoff. I think it's just another lesson of their learning process to develop to get better. And I would not be sacrifice a player because they have a very bad year on the playoff 1 year. It would take me another year or 2 more years before I qualify that players. Obviously, he cannot play in the playoff. It's not going to be a good fit for the Montreal. I would not sacrifice a player. Does it make sense? Like only because you have a very not a great year.
Are you thinking of somebody in particular?
Well, I think Cole Caulfield is one of them.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
and I think it would be not fair. It would not be fair to trade him just because you have a bad playoff one time. I think Cole Caulfield can get better. It's not easy, Mr. Top, on the first line. Look, the Carolina Hurricane, Ao, Jarvis, Chevnikov, they are struggling. They are not. They've been that way all playoff. The Carolina where they are right now, guys, because the second line. The second line carry on that. And Montreal Canadiens, after the first line, we got some help at the bottom six. But once that bottom six stopped to produce, but we don't get anything else. And that was the problem for the Montreal Canadiens. So for me, my conclusion of the show tonight, Mr. Tap, that's how I'm thinking. The time is now. If the price is good. Does it make sense? Like, we don't need,
they're not going to sacrifice their,
is the point. We don't need,
ideology of where they're...
We don't need to get we have to get a second center. If not, it's over. I don't think we are there yet. I think if the price is good for the Montreal Canadiens to sacrifice whoever they're thinking you need to sacrifice to get a thing better. The great example last year, Mr. Tab, is Noah Thompson. The Noah Thompson story was not coming from nowhere until at the end we heard the possibility to make a trade and they sacrificed a 2 first-round pick, all right, Eamon Heineman. Of course, Heineman will help, but it was not like the top best prospect and the top best player for the Montreal Canadiens. That's what I'm talking about.
Another bottom six.
Exactly. Right? I don't think they need to do it. I don't think so. It's a must to do it. If it's gave them a chance to get better and they know exactly. You know, I believe Montreal always said, we not draft a player for 18 years old. We draft for the player what he would become at 23 years old or 24 years old. And I think they're still learning what Kapanen could become, what Caden Cody can become. They know more about the player, but they don't know exactly all of them. And I think they still figure out about Sakoski, Demidov, but more the player on the second level. I think for me, Alex Newk is a great example of what he's looking for. I think Caden Cody is another one. They still to know about Tobesh. They still to know about Fowler. And then after that, then they start to learning more about what it could be Owen Beck anymore. And this is where I believe it's time now. Yes, if the prize is not to sacrifice a big name or the player they believe he have no other way to become with the Montreal Canadiens. And we have one of the 6 point mission at the top with not a really good center. I think Kapanen did a good job, but I think if Montreal want to get the next level, they need to find a player better at Kapanen, fit with Demidov, and I don't know yet what it will be. If they wait for Zareski and Michael Edge, we talk again another 3 years. And I'm worried about this where now Zizki will be 30 years old, Coffee will be 29 years old. We're going to get a bit older. I think Montreal Canadiens need to sacrifice. And at some point, Mr.
But that's
not
why.
all the prospects were going to make the Montreal Canadiens. And
No, absolutely not.
I think they have to figure out if which one between Michael Edge or Zareski they want to keep. I don't think me and the future, I could be wrong, both of them will be a part of Montreal Canadiens. One Montreal Canadiens are going to be the next level. I think they will have to sacrifice one of the two. I don't know which one. I don't know. But it's great to be a Montreal Canadiens fan. This is a great conversation we have tonight. It's a lot of rumors. We don't have the right expert. We are not expert. I'm just sharing our own opinion. A lot of people in the chat, guys, this is great. People talk left and right. Nicholas talk about this, and Mark, I need to get a better defensive coach. The right defenseman is a must for me, building from the back and a better home opinion. Mark Elliott, I'm talking about their size, not the style, the play or not. We cannot expect Lane and Madison to be all the lifting. Madison should be depth players, not top line. On this one, you need Caulfield to keep things going. The same on this next season. Mark Anderson is a must keep until we find a good replacement. We don't have to one right now. You know what? What it would be good for Josh Anderson. The reason he's going to stay longer with the Montreal Canadiens because of his speed. If you want to stay in the NHL after 33 years old, 34 years old, it's all about speed. And Josh Anderson have the speed. You can see right now between Anderson and Gallagher. Gallagher is going to go somewhere else because the speed is not there anymore. And I think Anderson brings something we don't have a lot right now, right? I think if you look about the Montreal prospect, the only player right now have a fit to be like Josh Anderson is Florent Jacquard. I don't say he would be Josh Anderson, but he has the size, everything like that. I think it's too early to talk about Tyler Thorpe, Popanikis, and all those kind of prospects. It's hard to make the NHL, Mr. Top. It's really hard.
It is.
It's not easy.
It is, Coach.
And you know, we one name we don't talk tonight is Pickford. Can Pickford become a right defenseman? But again, he brings something we already have. We just talk about Adam Ekstrom all night long, where we said Ekstrom is good, but if he does not bring what we have, Pickford is not going to bring physicality in the game. He's not going to give you what you're looking for. He's a right defenseman. But again,
he can skate and he can score, and that's in need in the NHL. We said this earlier, that's where their strength lies right now. And you can analyze the players any way you like. But there's a plethora of players that are on the defensive end, especially on the left side. And so any deal going forward for another gap that you have to fill has to come from that area of strength. You have picks as well, but like you said earlier, Coach, not all teams are looking to start, from a draft pick and work their way up with that player. They need players that are established in the NHL right now, depending on the team.
And besides that, at some point, like a Carolina Hurricane, they They gave Stankoven the second job as a second center, and Stankoven have 9 goals. He performed as a second center. That's pretty amazing when you think about this.
Yeah.
But if you look about the depth of the Vegas, when you have Jack Eichel, and then you have William Carlson, and then you have Colton Sissons, and then you have Nick Down. At some point, you have to split more the pie, and that's why you need depth on the players. I think one Montreal Canadiens are going to fix the right defenseman side, bring a little bit more physicality on the right on the defenseman, and then to bring more to find the intensity of the 4 line. That's what you need to figure out. And I think for me, there are 2 teams in the final. And the reason they are there, Mr. Natap, is because the 4 line, the depth is solid. Colzar, Nick Down, and Smith bring a dimension of the intensity of Vegas. On the Carolina, you have Carrier with Jankowski and Robinson. 3 fun kind of players, but they fit together. Montreal Canadiens right now, we have Joe Villano, Kirby Duck, and Zachary Bolduc. You can see right there.
One of those might come back.
That's the difference between who they are, both of them at the final, and why we're not there yet. And it's not to get sick when I'm talking. It's just Montreal need to find those kind of intensity and the kind of players they want to get to complete what they already have. And I think when they're going to get there, but Montreal will become better. I think Luc said we need to protect more Tobesh. And he's right about this. And it's sad. I will say to you, Luc, I think the NHL had to protect more the goaltender, Mr. Natap. We see too many hit on the goaltending this player. It's Anderson the last game. Taylor Hall did every playoff again, every team. He did the same thing about that. I think that the target of the goaltending is too easy, Mr. Natap. And you know what? And I'm not a guy, you know me for years. I never talk against the referee, Mr. Natap. It's rare I'm against the referee. I'm trying to let it go. I'm not making any excuse. But I'll be honest with you, every time you have a contact at the goalies, just call it. Call it. Call the 2 minutes. One time we hit Tobesh, we did not call the penalty. I don't know if it was Carolina or the Buffalo, but we don't call the penalty again on that play, Mr. Natap. Tobesh got hit. You know what? Just call the penalty. Protect. The NFL protect the quarterback, Mr. Natap. I know it's not the same kind anymore. I'm not an NFL.
No, it's the same logic, though. It's the same logic, and you're right. And maybe they have to go back to the blue crease, and I know that had other problems.
Any contact, you
can't get inside there.
Call it, and I think because the goaltending are very important, we don't have a lot. The talent goaltending is not great at the end. So what we got there. Don't count on NHL. They only care about the money on that one. But you're right. Mr. Tap, we're almost 11 o'clock. This is the kind of show I like to do because the people, who do you think we might draft in the first round this year? Who will be available that suit or need, Mark? That will be the last question tonight, Mr. Tap. Any players you thinking?
Well, we talked about a couple before. I think you had mentioned maybe Liam Ruck or William Atkinson, the left-handed defenseman. But again, it's a left-handed defenseman, so I don't know if Montreal really goes that direction. A big gamble would be Ryan Robrook, but he could pay off. 6'4", 210, I think, or 220 pounds. I think he played in the OHL in Niagara, if I'm not mistaken, and had a pretty productive year, like 59 or 60 points, something like that. So maybe that's a direction that they go. That I don't think that they'll necessarily seek too many defensemen, but they'll definitely seek strength down the middle and wingers that are big.
Yeah.
Last year we saw, like, I don't think they drafted anybody that was under 6'1" last year.
Yeah. You remind me of Rubrook a little bit like Dean Letourneau. The same thing.
Yes, and
Letourneau was, he picked up the first round pick because of his size. The
he's
player
had a
we're
good
talking
year,
about, Mr.
coach.
Tap, it was Atkinson. So is William Atkinson is a left defenseman on that one. Honestly, guys, the Montreal Canadiens, Liam Rock is the name come the more often when we talk about Montreal Canadiens. Is almost a 6 foot, is a 5'11.75. Have another year or 100 point at the WHL.
And he's a
lot
winger,
offensive,
right?
but again, is a small players. But here I will set you, Mr. Tap. I'm going to give you name where we don't know yet how they're going to get out. I will give you one name, another 5'11", but he work hard. Is Mattis Preston. He's been
He'll be gone.
Top 23, 24. Will be interesting. He will be available because he's 5'11". A player like Morozov will be maybe out before him. Savento, another 6'3" from Finland. You have to pay attention, guys. Jack Ekstall on the program, USHL, playing on the USHL last season. He is around 26, 27, play with Youngstown, where Fuller was grow over there. He's a 6'1", good players. We talk about Rulebrook a little bit early. You have Olsen, is a left defenseman, and is a 6'1". That's the player to looking about this. The problem is not that you have many players at 5'11". Kremko, Thomas Kremko. You have Marcus Rock over there. You have Shilov play with Victoriaville this year.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you about him. What do you think about him? Because he's a decent size. I think he's around 6'1" or 6'2".
He's 6'0.5, 6'0".
Yeah.
He's 6'0.5", 177. Good
He's a little bit
defensive
light.
player. He's a 200 feet player, Mr. Tap. I think he need to get a little bit more skate-wise, and probably a bit more his skating. He's not a very natural skater. He's a bit his skating is not natural. That's what he need to be worked, but he is really talented player. He's a really good skater. He have 82 points in 63 games this year. But the QM, Mr. Tap, I don't care about the point. I'm really more about the overall game. Shilov, he played that kind of game he would like. He's an early second-round pick, unfortunately. It could be available for the Montreal Canadiens. We talk about Maddox Dagenet a little bit early, but Dagenet is a bit late. The right defenseman, you don't have a lot. You have a more like the left defenseman on big size on that pick. I believe Montreal are looking for Liam Rock, I believe. If Jack Ekstall or Savento and Morozov or Princeton are available, it will be a conversation for Montreal Canadiens. But I believe at the end of the day, Montreal could trade the first round pick, Mr. Zap.
Yeah, I think that's the more probable case, just because of where they are in their rebuild. Well, I don't like to call it a rebuild right now. It's they're adjusting what their needs are and still clearing out some of their bad contracts, right? And we kind of saw the situation with Gallagher this year, as much as obviously many people, including myself, love what Gallagher has given Montreal and what he represents.
Yes.
But, at 6.5 million, it just didn't make sense to continue with him.
I think it's time to go, Mr. Santa. Danny T just show up.
Oh, yeah.
Danny just show up. Welcome, Danny. Hopefully an amazing, great weekend, Danny. I had a great comment, guys. Mark was active. A lot of people was active, guys. It's a fun night, Mr. Santa. It's really good. I think we don't do a lot of ad. I think it's good. People want to talk more about the Montreal Canadiens. It's a great time before the NFL, NHL. The last question tonight for the people in the chat. And two questions. and we're going to finish the show that way, Mr. Tap. Who won the Stanley Cup? Carolina can come back? If not, how many games? And do you think the Carolina coming back with Anderson or Bossy is going to be the starter again, number 4?
Well, I think it's pretty clear who both Luciano and I have picked to win the Stanley Cup, and that's Vegas. I think he had him in 5. I have him in 6 winning it, and I'm still going to stick to that. I mean, the good thing about Vegas is they can roll 4 lines at you at any time. They're not afraid to take the puck up the middle, something Montreal was unwilling to do or couldn't do, given the talent that they have on Carolina. And that was the reason why you couldn't see more than 9, 10, 15 shots at the most in a game. You saw last night, for the first time in the playoffs, Carolina was outshot by Vegas. They're not afraid to use the body. I think that they're just as well coached, if not better. Goaltending situation is neither one. To answer your question, who do I think Carolina goes back in net with? I think at this point they'll go back to Anderson, but they won't hesitate to pull him if he's if he's not up to snuff in terms of performance. Because we saw yesterday, like when Bussy came in, he's the reason why it gave him that opportunity to come back in the hockey game, and he made a couple of great saves, including a penalty shot.
I think for me, I will go with Bussy. I think Anderson struggled too much, Mr. Thompson, Montreal series. He's been under 0.875 save percentage. I think he's getting tired. I think he's tired. I think he's, he's never been a goaltender, go like 20 games straight, or he's never been that way. He's been, I think for me, if I rub Brandon,
no, but he can hide. He could usually hide behind the defense that's in front of him. He doesn't have to have.
I think for me, Mr. Tap, the best chance to win right now is Bussy over Anderson. And I will be honest with you, Vegas played well, play a good game, and they played a bit less style of the Canadian Hurricane. But my most disappointed, Mr. Tap, in my opinion, honestly, is Jacob Slavin. Slavin have a difficult playoff overall. He played maybe one good game against Montreal Canadiens, but overall, your best defenseman have to step up, and he does not. I think for me, their best defenseman is Miller for the Canadian Hurricane, and that's the problem right now.
Well.
The first night the Carolina does not perform, and Slavin, Chatfield are struggling, and I think this is the reason with Anderson cannot stop the puck. I took Carolina, honestly, because you took Vegas, not an excuse. But at the end of the day, I believe that playoff is more excited than what I was expected. I thought it was going to be a boring playoff final, and I think this is a great final, Mr. Natap, because 2-0, the other team win. You take 3-0, the other team come. It's a lot to come back. It's exciting. I don't know if you agree with me. It's an exciting playoff.
Definitely exciting. I don't know about how good of a play it is. Like the
quality,
there's definitely holes.
Yes, I agree with you. The quality is maybe not there, but this is the new wave of the hockey, guys. It's the skill, not physical, and they just come back. And this is maybe the worst playoff final of the goaltender. Usually a goaltender, Mr. Top, every year they step up to bring that team. The Vasilevsky, to Cam Ward, to Grafford, to Jonathan Quick, Holtby with Washington, Eden Hill a couple of years ago. He was Corbauer for Colorado, I believe. You know what I mean? Like, they have always a goaltender step up and they make that team better because they make Bennington, Murray. I can go like this. But this year, I think Gum was late, Mr. Tap could be a great goaltending during the playoff right now. About
Maybe
this.
even Danny.
And, and Mitch Marner is going, yes, Mitch Marner is a good story about this too. Mr. Tap, we'll let you go, but thanks to join us tonight. I think it was fun to be with you. It was always a pleasure to talk to you, and the people enjoy to be with all together. And I can't wait to next time. Until then, we're going to consider to do NBA tomorrow, right? Is it NBA tomorrow? I don't know. It's Monday, right?
Sure,
Tomorrow?
I forget.
Yeah, I think
tomorrow's
Monday it's NBA. Tuesday is NHL, Mr. Tap. And then every
Sounds
night
great.
will be like this. Hopefully, see you next Sunday for the next show of the Montreal Canadiens. If we don't have any sport live stream, the World Cup is coming, Mr. Tap.
I know. We're just a few days away. But thank you for having me, Coach, and good night, Hockey Nation. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Have a good one, Mr. Tap. Thanks again. I appreciate that. And that guy from Toronto was with us tonight. A lot of people, don't forget, please, to click on the likes. Another great conversation, guys. François Namache scored 2 goals tonight at the Hockey Nation. We have a lot of people exchange and with great opinion, with great posts and comments. And like I said, guys, I'm not an expert. I just enjoy to talk with all of you. And it's fun to see people. The Sunday night, they come here talking about Montreal Canadiens. And we want to thank all the moderators tonight, RJ Calabro, and all the people been with us all night long talking about your team. It's a rumor. It's considered to be more rumor. But we're going to see what Montreal is going to do during the summer. And we can wait for the final. Honestly, Monday, NBA, Tuesday, NHL, Wednesday, NBA, Thursday, NHL. We see now if the Knicks is going to sweep the Spurs. As Vegas can win in 5 games. We have to wait about that until the NHL draft, guys. The World Cup is coming. We're going to follow up. And many games the play-by-play. I can wait to see all of you. Have an amazing, great week, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the night. Have a great night. Sleep well. And, of course, the only reason we get better is because Danny T is in the house tonight and because he's a man like this. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Thanks so much, everybody, to be a part of the show tonight. I have too many people to thank. Merci beaucoup, Luc Lafortune, Ron, and many others, guys. You've been a great asset for the Hockey Nation. I'm blessed and grateful and thankful for all of you. And I can wish you next time. Have an amazing, great night. Be well. BL. Find a way not only to dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first app or what? Someone said 2026. And, of course, one more thing, sir. It's coming. Merci beaucoup, Nicholas. Great. Always to see you, Nicholas, with us and many others. Booyah!